see what it does. Okay, we just spun the wheels. This is the holy. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of 0 to 60. In today's episode, the main point of the video is going to be getting the custom map loaded on from JSR Tuning, and basically starting to go through the process and showing you guys what's involved in getting a tune set up, because I know a lot of you guys probably don't realise. The other thing I wanted to do, actually apologise for a video not coming out yesterday when we said it would, but it was just terribly wet yesterday. We ended up doing a video on Dave's M5, which I think is safer to drive in the wet than this N54. But yeah, trying to do logs or anything rolling the power on this car is just not going to work. And if you haven't seen that video where I did shit myself, I'll put a link up in the corner. Because it was a bit funny now looking back, but at the time it wasn't. Anyway, the other thing I wanted to talk about is just the other mods I've done on the car. On that first drive video, there were quite a few comments from concerned people, and rightly so if you didn't know what's gone on with the car, but people don't realise all the mods that are actually on this vehicle. Over the last 6 months, I've been trying to get it ready for these hybrid turbos. So basically a fuel system, ignition system, make sure everything's going to work how it should to support some high boost pressures. But I thought I'd better just show you, and I'll go through the mods that we have done. Now, if you've been following the turbo install, you'll obviously know about the intakes, the inlets, but the car has got aluminium charge pipe. It has got a VRSF style 7.5-inch intercooler down there. I'm running a aftermarket gearbox transcooler in there, and I'll flick up some photos of that, I hope. Also, while we're at the front of the car, it has got a brand new high pressure, genuine high pressure fuel pump. That was too expensive. I also installed I can't remember the brand, but it's one of the early port injection systems, and I actually got that really cheap. It was 900 Aussie, and that included the fuel rail, injectors, and the BMS port injection controller, which hides in here. That would have been an absolute bargain, but the injectors that it was supplied with ended up being gunked up, so I did need to buy some other injectors. But long story short, I've got 5 brand new Bosch port injectors in there at the moment. They're 500cc ones. And I've always had the intention of running the car on full E85/flex fuel, but I wanted to be able to run the power levels that you can with full E85. I'm running 2-step Calder NGK plugs and brand new Elder coils. I say brand new, they're probably about 3 months old now, but they were put in for the purpose of setting up the turbos. The car does have 4 new O2 sensors, and I think that's probably about it. I am still running the factory 335 oil cooler. I've never had issues with engine oil temps on this car, even when I was running 20 PSI on the stock turbos. The actual engine temps are always pretty good for the type of driving I'm doing with it. So I'm not circuit racing. I'll do 1 or 2 pulls, hard, like high speed pulls. And if we're doing 0 to 60 runs, I might do 5 to 8 of them and don't get any thermal issues with the engine. So I'm gonna leave the stock cooler in there for now, but I might upgrade it down the track depending on what temps do once we start winding the boost up. Now the rest of the fuel system, I've actually got 2 Walbro 460s, and I did a DIY install with those. And it's worked okay, but I've basically cut out the bottom of the bucket. I've got 2 Walbro 460s crammed in the stock bucket. It goes over to a brand new, I say brand new, it's a couple of months old now, genuine fuel pressure regulator. I've got a I think it's a Dash 8 fuel line going to a BMS fuel lit flex fuel sensor, which feeds into the JB4, so I can actually get my ethanol content up on the JB4 display. But I would like to go to a full flex system, so eventually the flex input will be going to the DME. We'll worry about it later down the track. So yeah, the actual fuel system is set up for hopefully, touch wood, be able to run high 20 PSI, so 27 to 30 PSI boost. We'll see. But yeah, the car has actually had quite a lot of supporting mods. So when I was driving it the other day, although the tune that was on there wasn't for the hybrids, it was for 20 PSI stock turbo, fully 85. I wasn't just being an absolute muppet, but I still didn't give it too much of a beating. Anyway, guys, that's enough of that. Let's get this JSR tune loaded on with MHD. I haven't actually used MHD since they've gone to the version 2 update. So we'll go through that process and go out for a drive. Okay, guys, so we've got the new version 2 of MHD loaded. The car ignition is on. I've got the seat belt clipped in just to try and stop the car going to sleep while I'm messing around filming. But basically, because I've got the JB4, we're only flashing a back-end map. Now, the main difference between those two is it just won't boost over 11 PSI in the map itself. I think it's 11. So you need the JB4 if you want to run higher boost. And that's why the map through MHD is a slightly cheaper map pack or flashing option. Anyway, so we'll go to a flash a back end map, which is what I've always done on this car, and we have the map there, which is the base flash from JSR. Now the MHD app is going to connect to the vehicle, and as we've already got MHD on this vehicle, it's only a 2-minute write. Now it is always recommended to have your car on a battery charger, but I know this battery was charged up the other night, so we're going to be more than fine for a 2-minute flash. And she's going through the process there, and you'll see the car will make some funny noises and go through the process. While that's loading, I was just going to touch on a few things. So a lot of guys, it's going to bong throughout this process. A lot of guys have mentioned that I don't need the JB4, and they are 100% correct. I do not need the JB4. The car come with the JB4, and I've got to be honest, when I first got the vehicle and I was learning about N54s last year, having the resources that are available through N54 Tech and being able to load free maps from N54 Tech was brilliant. So this car, the guys didn't even know, the guy I bought it off didn't know it had the JB4. It didn't have a back end flash. So then I could put the pump flash on, and then I put an E40 flash on, and then I ended up going to I think it was like an E50 or an E60, E85 flash. And this car was rapid without really spending any money. I think it was like $90 for the MHD license to flash those flashes. And yeah, the guys on the JB4 forum are just really, really helpful when you're learning about your vehicle, sorting out misfires and that sort of thing. And I think that's probably one of the biggest bonuses with the JB4. If you're into DIYing yourself, being on that forum is very helpful for learning and tuning and playing with your car yourself. If you just want to get in, set it and forget it, MHD is the way to go in my opinion. You can't go through as many tunes without paying more money, which is fair enough. You won't get the free tweaking that you'll get on the JB4, which is completely fair enough. But it's a more straightforward system, and I genuinely believe that if you're running just a basic sort of mod package, it just runs pretty damn good with MHD. And I think an MHD car is probably quicker than a pump flash car. Don't kill me, JB4 world. But yeah, that's just my experience. On the flip side, this car had a free JB4. I'm using the JB4 now to control the port injection, and I do believe that is better than the other option to control port injection. Definitely better for tunability and safeties. And I really want to be able to turn the boost down. Sometimes I will lend this car to other people, so I want to have it just tuned for 25 to 30 PSI when I'm driving it. And if I lend it to someone, be able to basically change the map quickly and run 8 PSI. And that's something that you can do with the JB4, which you cannot do with MHD. You have to reflash. Okay, that's just beeping to tell me the flash is done. I hope I didn't bore you all with that story, but it took 2 minutes and 25 seconds. That's using one of these cheap cables. And all I've got to do now is turn the ignition off, and I'll always turn it off and actually lock the car. And that will help the DME go to sleep a bit quicker. Yeah, just with that cable, I bought that cable when I first got the car before I realised how much money I was going to spend on the car, so it's just one of the cheap eBay K&D CAN cables. It works absolutely fine, but it is slow. The MHD tuned 335 that you'll see on the channel every now and again, he bought one of the MHD wireless adapters and it flashes like 3 times faster than that. So that flash, it just took 2 minutes 25 seconds. That would have been 30 to 45 seconds, I'd bet, with the Wi-Fi adapter. As soon as the version 2 MHD came out, I jumped straight on to try and buy a dongle, and they're all sold out. So I am going to try and, if anybody knows anyone that's got the MHD Wi-Fi adapters in stock, comment below, because I need to get one ASAP. I want to try and do all this with my iPhone instead of carrying the Android around. Anyway guys, give me 2 minutes to let the car fully go to sleep, and then you'll see me again once we give it its first start. All right, it's phones galore today. So these are all the JB4 settings that JSR wanted me to set into the JB4. So they are all loaded. And he's actually been really good with all the instructions on what to do. So I will save that. They're basically his fuel settings, all the settings he's using to control the boost, essentially. And that's really all this JB4 is doing. It's controlling the boost on the turbos and having a say in the sorry guys, I'm trying to think, having a say in the port injection. So there, and JSR also said to run it on map 7, so let's see if it starts. Started nicely. I've been really concerned with the AFRs of late. I like to keep an eye on them, make sure they're similar. And they're not. You can see this one's doing some weird stuff. See if it sorts itself out, if it heats up. I have got two different brand of O2 sensors, and you can see it was like the bank 1 heated up before bank 2, but they are now meshing. I might change them both to the same brand actually. Anyway guys, I'm going to let this warm up. I'm going to take it for a bit of a drive, make sure it's all running fine, and then I'm going to take you along and show you the process of doing a log. So I'll see you guys in a few minutes. Well guys, I've done about half an hour's worth of driving. The only thing I was a little bit sus on, and it's nothing to do with JSR, I'm just concerned about my O2 sensors. When I was cruising down the highway, which is super low load, when I guess O2 sensors are working, trying to lean out the fuel system, I was noticing a big difference between the two, and I'll check the video when I get back, but yeah, actually you'll see anyway. But I don't know, O2 sensors just worry me. Now my low pressure fuel system, it's doing its weird thing that it always does. It always oscillates like this. And I'm starting to think it might be because of the aftermarket fuel line I've got in there. We'll see, we'll see. Let me know what you guys think about that, because I'm running a bigger diameter fuel line than standard. So I wonder if the PWM signal from the fuel pump controller is actually struggling to get the fuel pressure it wants, but it doesn't actually drop, it just always oscillates like that. Under load it's normally fine, but yeah, that's normal. Alright guys, this means I'm about ready to go and wind some boost on. Let's go see what it does. Well, I hope you can hear me okay. We're going to do a bit of a second gear and a third gear roll on. See what it does. Okay, we just spun the wheels. This is the holy. It's quite fast. It's quite fast. It's definitely faster. Wow. Hit the rev limiter in both gears and did not mean to. So it's going through the gears so much faster. Oh, I did log that, so it'd be interesting to see how bad my driving was. But I'll get to a better spot and we'll do a proper third gear log. I might have to do it with the windows up so I can hear things a bit better. That was friggin' wild. I hope you can hear me okay, but I'm going to pull off the motorway and basically use a clear section to do a third gear log. With the logs, what I'm going to try and do, I'll be in third gear, I'll lock it in third gear, and I'll accelerate, basically go wide open throttle from 2,500 RPM, so the car won't be on boost, and everything will basically come on strong, and I'll wind it right out to near red line, and I'll probably hold it flat, do a shift, and just see what we get with the post-shift timing corrections, and yeah, see what the JSR tuning map does. Alright guys, you'll get me when we're pulling back onto the motorway. Well, we're coming up to a nice safe place to do a third gear log. Let's see what it does. Jesus, it comes on a boost so fast. Fuck off, Jesus Christ. Guys, this is not a toy. Wow. Okay, that actually felt really strong for the base map. It felt like I was getting less post-shift timing corrections. I'm not even going to comment on that until I've had a look at the log. But yeah, wow, that was pretty crazy. Alright, I'll see you back when we get back to the house. So I just got back from the drive, car's still running. It's bloody wild. It's put me in a damn good mood that these turbos are doing what they're doing. Initial impressions on JSR Tuning's base map. It's pretty good. Obviously it's just the base map, so he has not seen what his map's doing to the car, but it feels awesome. It comes on a boost a lot faster. I'm hearing a lot more boost noise, and I assume it's just he's done something, or there's something in his tune that makes the hybrids work a little bit better. I assume. Could be his JB4 settings, I don't know. But it's definitely more responsive. Throttle response is perfect for the way I like driving. And yeah, she winds out. She winds out strong. The only thing I'm going to note, I'm still getting a little bit concerned with my AFRs. Just after the difference change in the rear O2 sensors made to this car, I have changed both fronts now, but they are different brand O2 sensors, and it's just playing on my mind. I think I should probably just get some genuine ones. But I'm going to sign this video off here because it's probably getting long enough. I'm going to email these logs off to JSR, and I'll let you guys know what his thoughts are and what the revision's like. So until the next one, thank you very much for watching, and remember, Team N54. We got to beat Dave's S62. All right, guys, we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.